All right, let's talk about one of the most frustrating things I see happen to guys over and over again when they are trying to get lean. It goes like this. You finally decide it's time to get in shape. You clean up your diet, you cut your calories rather hard. You start pushing your cardio. You start eating like a bird. Chicken, rice, maybe some broccoli. You suffer through it for weeks. You expect your abs to pop. You expect that shredded, lean, confident physique to magically emerge. But weeks go by, and not only are you not where you want to be, but now you're exhausted, starving, still soft around the midsection, and wondering, what the hell am I doing wrong? I'll tell you what you're doing wrong. The same thing most people do when they try to cut body fat without understanding how the metabolism actually works. You're trying to starve your way to leanness, and you're setting yourself up for failure. This approach might feel logical. Less food equals less body fat, right? But the reality is far more nuanced. And if you want to get actually lean enough to see real definition, lean enough to feel proud of what you've built, you need to understand this stuff properly. So let me walk you through why this happens, how your body responds to aggressive dieting, and what to do instead if you want to get lean the right way without destroying your metabolism in the process. So this is what happens to most guys. You start your diet at, let's say, 3,000 calories a day. You want to lose fat quickly, so you slash the intake down to 2,000, maybe even 1,800 right off the bat. At first, it works. You drop a few pounds, the scale moves, your face looks a little bit more trim and lean, you feel like you're on the right track. But within a few weeks, the weight loss stops, the fat loss stalls, you plateau. So what do? You cut calories again, down to 1,600, maybe even lower. You tell yourself, well, if I'm not losing weight, I just need to eat less. It makes sense on the surface, but here's what's happening inside your body. Your metabolism is adapting to your environment. Your body isn't stupid. It's designed for survival. It sees this sudden drop in calories as a potential threat, like a famine is happening, and it does what it's evolved to do over thousands of years. It slows down your energy expenditure. It holds on to fat. It tanks your energy. It makes you feel lethargic. It increases your hunger hormones like ghrelin, decreases your thyroid output. Your testosterone can take a hit too. Basically, your body becomes incredibly efficient at doing less with less. The result, you're stuck in this miserable state where you're barely eating, you have no energy, you're still soft around the edges, and your fat loss has completely stalled. Worse yet, your workouts suffer, you lose muscle, your strength tanks. And without muscle mass, your metabolism slows down even further, making fat loss even harder. As you can see, this is a rather vicious cycle. And unfortunately, I see it happen to guys every single month, every single year, especially when they're chasing that summer body or prepping for a vacation or an event. So one of the biggest reasons guys get stuck in this starvation trap is because they haven't built enough muscle in the first place. See, muscle isn't just for aesthetics. It's not just about filling out your shirts or looking good in the gym mirror. Muscle is your metabolic engine. The more muscle you carry, the more calories your body burns, even at rest. It's metabolically demanding, requires more energy to maintain. That's why lean, muscular guys can eat upwards of 3,000 calories a day and still stay lean, while smaller, under-muscled individuals have to practically starve themselves just to drop a few pounds. So if you skipped your off-season bulking phase, avoided heavy lifting, didn't prioritize protein, or spent the bulk eating garbage and getting fat instead of building quality tissue, you've essentially made your fat loss phase 10 times harder. Building muscle isn't just about the bulking phase though. It's about setting yourself up for success when it's actually time to lean down. The more muscle you build now, the higher your calorie ceiling will be when you eventually diet. The difference between cutting at 2,800 calories versus cutting at 1,800, it's night and day. Not just for results, but for how you feel, how you perform, and how sustainable the process actually is. So when you cut calories, like I said, your body adapts. That's inevitable. But the key is to slow that adaptation down as much as possible. That's why the smartest way to diet isn't necessarily the aggressive starvation method. It's a measured, patient, strategic approach that gives your body time to respond without panicking. Think of your fat loss like squeezing toothpaste out of the tube. You don't want to press the whole tube at once. You apply a little pressure, see the result, apply a little bit more, see the result. Rushing the process gets you to the end of the tube faster and leaves a mess in the process. So what's the smarter way? You start small. If your maintenance is 3,000 calories, you might start your cut with a modest 300 calorie deficit. That puts you at 2,700. You stay there. You let your body settle in. You don't overreact to minor fluctuations on the scale. It's normal to have a day or two where the scale doesn't move. Your weight will fluctuate based on water retention, sodium intake, inflammation after training, digestion, dozens of factors unrelated to actual fat loss. A plateau is only a plateau if your weight hasn't budged for at least a full week, ideally 2. If you panic at the first sign of no progress and slash your calories again, congratulations, you've just accelerated your body's adaptation process and made the entire thing harder for yourself. So let me clear up another misconception while we're at it here. Cardio has its place in fat loss, but relying entirely on cardio to burn stubborn fat, especially while undereating, is a recipe for disaster. Most of your calorie burn doesn't come from your workouts. It comes from something called NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. That's all the movement you do throughout the day that isn't formal exercise, like walking, fidgeting, standing, doing chores, moving around the house. When you aggressively diet and your energy plummets, your NEAT often drops without you realizing it. You move less, you fidget less, you sit more. Your body becomes incredibly good at conserving energy. Suddenly, your calorie burn tanks, even if your workouts stay the same. That's why tracking your daily steps during a cut is probably one of the most underrated tools in your fat loss toolbox. It keeps your overall energy expenditure consistent, even as your calories drop. A good target, somewhere between 8K, 12K steps per day range, more if you're advanced and your body's stubborn. So if you're cutting for an extended period as well, say for 12 weeks or more, you can't expect your body to be in a constant calorie deficit without consequences. Eventually, your metabolism slows, your hormones downregulate, your fat loss stalls. That's where strategic refeeds and diet breaks come into play. So a refeed is typically a 1 to 2 day increase in calories focused primarily on carbohydrates. This provides a temporary boost of metabolism, restoration of glycogen stores, improves training performance, and a psychological break from the monotony of diet. Now, diet breaks are a bit longer, usually 1 to 2 weeks of eating at maintenance calories. This is going to be like a refeed, but a little bit more impactful. It's going to reverse some of the metabolic slowdown, normalize the hunger hormones, provide a bit of mental relief, stabilize your energy and mood. Used properly, these tools not only make the process more sustainable, but can actually improve your long-term results. So after your fat loss phase, if you've already crashed your metabolism, if you're stuck at a sub 1600 calories doing an hour of cardio a day and still holding fat, you need to reverse diet. Reverse dieting is the process of slowly increasing your calorie intake, typically by 50 to 150 calories per week, so you can restore your metabolic rate, rebuild some lost muscle, improve your hormonal health, and boost your energy and training performance, and even set yourself up for future fat loss success. The thing is though, it requires a lot of patience. You might see a slight uptick in scale weight initially, but oftentimes that is water and glycogen and not fat. In the long run, this is the only sustainable way to get your body back to a place where fat loss is possible without living on chicken breast and sadness. So if you take one thing from this entire breakdown, let it be this. You cannot starve your way to being lean. Getting shredded is about strategy and not suffering. It's about understanding how your body works, respecting its adaptation process, and setting yourself up for success, not just now, but for years to come. The guys who get and stay lean, they're not the ones eating 1,200 calories and grinding themselves into the ground. They're the ones who build their muscle in the off-season bulking phases, cut slowly and strategically, track their movement and NEAT, use refeed and diet breaks wisely, and they reverse diet when they need it. Play the long game. Stop slashing your calories at the first sign of plateau. Stop panicking over minor fluctuations, and stop chasing shortcuts that leave you burnt out, hungry, and frustrated. Just be patient, be methodical, be disciplined. That's how you get lean and stay lean without wrecking your body in the process. So if you found this helpful, feel free to share this with a friend who keeps eating like a bird and wondering why they still have love handles. In the meantime, stay smart, stay strategic, and for the love of your metabolism, stop trying to starve your way to abs.